You're listening to the Black Eagles podcast with Sinan Schwarting and Kaan Bayazit.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Yanında Tümer var. Tümer'e doğru aksın kaybetti. Tümer topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol! Gol! Gol! Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Yuma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet. Ve
Hello amigo, how are you? Come to Beşiktaş.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue sur le podcast des Aigles Noirs. Is that right, Pierre? Did I just pronounce that right?
It's perfect. C'est parfait.
Yeah, the Black Eagles podcast. We're back again with another special episode. This week we're focusing on Pedro Rebocho, our new left back, which we acquired from En Avant Guingamp.
Guingamp.
En Avant Guingamp. Sorry,
Yes.
I that's a little tough. My French
No, it's
pronunciation
lovely. It's lovely.
is always perfect. But yeah, so we are joined here live right now, well, for me live, by Pierre Henry-Dufeil from Radio Bonheur. He comments live on all the matches of Guingamp. So he's watched plenty of our new left back, Pedro Rebocho. Pierre, thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
So Pierre, Rebocho joined your club 2 years ago, joined Guingamp 2 years ago from Benfica. He was playing there for, I believe, the B team. He's got some caps for Portugal under 19, under 21, I think. But he was never really considered as a huge talent coming out of Benfica. I spoke to some people in Portugal, and when he was there, he wasn't seen as a massive talent. Obviously, Benfica are a factory of talents, but he ended up in Ligue 1 with Guingamp, and he put in a really good performance this past season, especially. Not that amazing in his first season. I think you mentioned off air he only got 2 assists, but this past season he made 43 appearances in the Coupe de la Ligue, I believe, and in Ligue 1 together, and he got 12 assists. That's quite astonishing for a left back, especially for one who plays for a team that unfortunately for Guingamp got relegated to Ligue 1. What was your overall impression when you were watching Pedro on the field?
At the end or at the beginning?
Well, let's start with the beginning.
We had a good example for us just the year before Rebocho arrived. We had on loan Marsal from Benfica too, who did a huge season with us with 7 assists. It was like a love story at the first game against Marseille. It was astonishing. So when Rebocho comes to Guingamp, we saw that he came from Benfica, so we told, okay, we had Marsal, so Rebocho could be okay. We saw that he was playing the European Championship with Portugal under 21, so we say, okay, it's a good reference, and Guingamp is the best club for him to improve. The first year was quite good for the club. We finished 12th. We scored a lot of goals. We conceded a lot of goals too, and the second year was really, really difficult. We just scored, I don't remember well, and I want to forget it, but it was around 27 or 30 goals in Ligue 1, so it was really poor. But Rebocho was one of the only guys we could say that he did a good season. So it's a really good thing in that atmosphere of last year. He was a little bit shy on the first season. He defended quite well, but offensively was not really good. We felt that it was shy. He didn't do his action at 100%, but he did well last year, his second season, and I think that's why he had 12 assists, and it was 50-50 between open play and set pieces too.
And of course, people in Turkey will remember Mark Child as well. He played for Gaziantepspor for a season on loan. I believe he was really good there. And I think then he went to Lyon, I want to say. Right?
Yeah.
And then he joined you guys, I assume.
He did Gaziantep, Guingamp, and Lyon.
Oh, okay. Well, I remember he was really good at Gaziantepspor, and he was on the radar back then too for some of the bigger clubs in Turkey, but that didn't materialize.
Yeah. We were really surprised in Guingamp after 3 or 4 games. We told us, what does he here? He was not a player for Guingamp, but for bigger clubs. So he discovered Lyon at 28 years, I think. So it was late, but. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he was like 25 when he came to Turkey, so that could be right. So how would you say, for example, that's a good reference points for us to go off on? How would Rebocho compare up to Marçal, for example?
I think Rebocho is better defensively than Marçal. Maybe more concentrated, but maybe less crazy. Marçal was a Brazilian, so he did some skills typically Brazilian. He was also playing with the crowd, with the people in the stadium. So in Guingamp we love that. I think in Beşiktaş too. Rebocho is a little bit shy, but I think he's more regular than Marçal, and he really improved last year, and I am really curious to see what Rebocho can do in Beşiktaş in a team with confidence, because in Guingamp last year we cannot quote 3 or 4 players who did a great season. It was really, really poor. We had 2 coaches different, but nothing really changed. And Rebocho was the most regular. So I think Rebocho is younger than Marçal too. So I think it can improve more than Marçal. And I'm really, really curious to see Rebocho in Beşiktaş.
I think we all are, and very hopeful too. Now, this is something I don't usually do, but I pulled up his Who Scored page here, and I work with data a lot, so I know how to read these things usually. And one of the things that I have come to the conclusion after some years of experience is that when we look at a Who Scored page, for example, for a player, there's this tab, strengths and weaknesses, and it's something you have to take with a major pinch of salt, because obviously this is based on an algorithm. This is not based on people actually watching him. This is like based purely on statistics, so this can be very misleading. But when we look at his strengths here, obviously crossing, key passes, it seems logical. You pointed that out too. He got 12 assists, 6 from open, 50-50 from open play and from set pieces, so that seems logical. Then another strength that we see here is concentration, and another one is blocking of the ball. Then we see weaknesses. We see only one, and that would be tackling. That's something you would agree with. Would you say that tackling is something he could work on?
Yeah. He can improve in that situation. The problem for him too last year was in the left side on the pitch. He was playing with Marcus Thuram, who signed for Borussia Mönchengladbach a few days ago, and Thuram was sometimes I don't have the real word in English, but it was not really helping Rebocho in the left side. You understand?
A little lazy in terms of defensive work rate.
Sometimes. So it was a difficulty for Rebocho. We conceded 68 goals in the league, so it was horrific. And Rebocho sometimes in duels, in one-on-one was not really good. But in my opinion, Rebocho was not a problem in our team last year, and that's why I told you that I want to see him in a team with more confidence, who is playing the top of the table,
Yeah.
So I want to see that because I think it's a really solid player. It's he's not really crazy in the game. It's not the player like Marçal, but is concentrated. It's a really focused player.
Yeah, and when we look at Portuguese players, we always think of hot-tempered, maybe a little aggressive sometimes. Of course, that's something that Turkish players have a lot too.
Yeah.
But from what I'm gathering from what you're saying is that Rebocho really isn't the stereotypical Portuguese player. He seems more composed, more... he's not going to lash out quickly, is what I'm gathering from your words. How is he in terms of getting booked? Does he argue with a referee?
No,
things like that?
No. He's a good person. He's a good player. I try to remember, but it didn't had a lot of books. 0 red card also, I think. If I remember well, I don't have the stats with me, but I don't remember seeing him doing a bad tackle, something dangerous. Even
he had 4 yellows in the league last season. So that's
No, it's not a bad player.
Yeah, not a bad
maybe,
boy.
Maybe, not a bad boy. Even if he is a rapper, do you understand me?
Yeah. We saw. I mean, that's one of the first things that Beşiktaş fans dug up is his rap video, which I watched. I'm not a big rap fan, but I actually liked it.
Yeah.
So with that, you immediately get this impression of, oh no, this is one of those. This is a bad boy. But
it's paradoxical because you can you see that whoa, okay, and no, he's not a bad boy.
Yeah.
In interviews, it's a really good person, a little bit shy, and it was really. I think it's a really clever person because he learned French after I don't know 1 or 2 months. He was able to do an interview in French, so I think it's a really good guy and really clever.
And his English seems very good too. From what I can, I saw you interview him when he first arrived, and he didn't have like a thick accent or anything. He seemed to find his words really quickly, and then he even answered you in French afterwards. So that was very impressive because I mean, Portuguese players tend to struggle a little bit with other languages, in my experience, and that, I was quite impressed by that, especially given I think Guingamp is his first adventure outside of Portugal, I think. So
it was, and it was surprising and a really good thing. And in the interview, I was asking him what did he know about Guingamp, the club in the city, and he answered me that he knew that Guingamp was a really small city with 7,000 people, and he told it in French. And it was something really appreciated by supporters, and it was a good example of the image he had in Guingamp. It was one of the only player, I think it was the only player when he left a few days ago, where the club say thank you. It was an image on the Facebook of the club, and they say thank you, Pedro.
Yeah, we saw it.
And I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't see that for other players. So I think it's a good example of the way Rebocho was loved in Guingamp.
Mm-hmm. And is this something that was already brewing in the media in France? Because, for example, in Turkey, this kind of came out of nowhere, and that's something we've been seeing now. This transfer window, we have a new. Well, he's not really new. He's been at the club for a while, but he's really been given the reins this transfer period of conducting the transfers. Ali Naibi, who's our director of football, and he's really done a great job at keeping all these things quiet, because usually in Turkey, lots of the transfers, they get done in the media, and then the names come out really quickly, and rival clubs jump on it. They drive up the price, and stuff like that. That really didn't happen. This kind of came out of left field. Beşiktaş were strongly linked with Riza Durmisi from Lazio Roma. There were even still rumors that day, I think, and then late in the evening, suddenly we got the news. Bam! Beşiktaş have an agreement, and the deal is basically done, pending a medical. Was it something that you already heard of, that Beşiktaş were interested in Rebocho, or did that kind of come out of nowhere?
No, we thought in what time that in the time that he could stay with us, because the first game of Ligue 2 he was playing with Guingamp. No, we saw some clubs in France, like Marseille, who is looking for a left back, but Marseille is not able to pay a lot of money with the financial fair play. So
neither are Beşiktaş.
Yeah, I don't know, but in Marseille it's like that. Lyon was looking for a left back too, but I think they bought another player. I don't remember well. I don't know who, but they had a left back. We saw Mallorca in Spain, other clubs too. But yes, Beşiktaş comes at the end, and it was a deal done. So in Guingamp, there's not a lot of rumors like that. We are peaceful journalists, We are not looking for the scoop, the I don't know the word in English, but right. the buzz, the scoop. So no, we saw it. Let's see what happened with him. It's a good club in Europe, Beşiktaş. We have a good image in France of that club, and I think some supporters will watch the game to see what happened for him, because we are really proud in Guingamp when we see former players shining with another club. So let's see what happened with him.
Well, they can do so on beIN Sports France. They do broadcast the Turkish league since 2 years or so. But let's get back a little bit on the player himself. If I'd have to ask you to describe Pedro Rebocho as a player, how would you do so?
I have one word. It's regular. Last year he played a lot. You told it. 43 games. He had. There were no concurrence in his side. He's also a player who is never injured, or it's really rare. So with Adriano and your other left back,
Caner.
Yeah, Caner. I think it was some problems with them. It's a strong player, never injured, good left foot. He crossed a lot. The game, the way of playing of the team with Gourvenec, our second coach, who is an iconic coach in Guingamp. He was back in the club. It didn't end well, but the game was to play on the wings and cross a lot. And so Rebocho crossed a lot, and he assists a lot, 12 assists. It was huge for us, and he didn't succeed every cross, but he was one of the most efficient. Supporters of other clubs had a good image of him too. Really a really regular player. Not really crazy, but efficient. Sometimes he tries some skills. It's a bit of craziness, I think, but it's not a bad player. Like I said before, it's I want to see him too with stronger defense, because we are really poor last year in midfield, with center defenders.
The defensive midfield, maybe it all starts in midfield and it crumbles down.
Yeah. It was really poor. We had the impression that we can concede 3 or 4 goals every time. But Rebocho was one of the most regular and a good participation to the offensive play, even if it was complicated because Thuram did a lot of individuals actions, so it was complicated to exist with him, but he did quite well, and I think it's a good player for that kind of team, Beşiktaş, who had to play on the top of the table. It will be a good test for him.
So that's one of those things as well for Beşiktaş right now. They're still looking for a left winger right now. Ricardo Quaresma is playing on the left. He's for years played on the right, but Beşiktaş got a new player there, Tyler Boyd, and it looks like he will be getting that position on the right. And for now, in most of the friendlies, Quaresma has started on the left. It's highly likely that Beşiktaş will still get a new winger. Konoplyanka is being named. El Yunusi is being named. We'll have to wait and see. But you think he could very well accommodate with a guy like Quaresma, who maybe doesn't have the best defensive work rate and maybe kind of do the dirty work behind him and still be able to be effective in defense?
It was used to do the dirty job in the left side with us, so maybe he will do the same if he's Quaresma, and he's Portuguese too. So I think for language, it will be it will not be a problem, but. He did the dirty job, like you said, with us. It's important to have a good feeling with the winger. He had a good feeling with Thuram, but it was not, the typical relationship between a left back and the left winger. We didn't see a lot. We saw it on one of our last game at home. And we told us, but why they were not able to do that before? It was really simple, in 1-2 touches. It was really simple, and it was fantastic during one half. But it was really, really rare. It was complicated to see good football last year in Guingamp, but Rebocho was not the responsible of that, and that's why Rebocho existed in the team of Guingamp last year, and I think it's a huge thing to have existed in that team during last season.
So basically, he kept his head above water while the rest of the team was drowning, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I can quote you Rebocho, Thuram as player who did quite well last season. I don't have a lot of examples, and Thuram was really, really good at the beginning of the season. Like Buffon and Thomas Tuchel said that at the beginning of the season, Thuram was the player who impressed them a lot and the most in the championship. But during the second part of the season was not the same player, but Rebocho was regular, the most consistent, regular in his performances, and to tell you now the name, I don't have. We had a really good goalkeeper with penalties, but the game was a little bit complicated. But no, Rebocho, Thuram, that's all.
So defensively, you would say, despite Guingamp conceding a lot of goals, you would still say that he's defensively very capable.
Yeah, it's capable. It's not really good. I think you have to improve, but he's consistent. He's consistent. He's not really a fighter, Maybe in Turkey with the atmosphere, with the spirit, he will improve, but. No, he's concentrated, focused, and he has to improve, to be stronger. But I think Beşiktaş is a good club to improve with those characteristics.
And when you say he's not a fighter, do you mean he's not, like I said earlier, a hothead, not aggressive, or do you mean he's not?
No. It's not aggressive. He fights, but
he's combative. Combative, but not aggressive.
Yeah, not aggressive. Yes.
Okay.
You have a better English than me.
No, I just wanted to clear that up for our listeners. I think I understood what you meant, but I can already think of a couple.
It's better for the people who will listen it. Yeah.
It's just I can think of a couple of our regulars who would be like, "Oh no, he said he's not a fighter," but I think he's combative, but not
combative, but not a bad boy. Not a bad boy.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we already pointed out his strengths, his offensive contributions, obviously a strength. But is there anything else that jumps out to you that you would highlight as a strength of his that we haven't really spoken about yet?
No. I think he will have to improve too if he wants to score goals, because he didn't have a lot of opportunities with us. He was most a creator with the key passes, assists, but I don't remember seeing him do action or add really good opportunities in front of the goal. No, it's a really, really consistent player. You have the right word. And he scored a penalty too in the semi-final of the League Cup. So that's an example of his concentration. He shot really well his penalty kick. I think that's all. For me, that's all. I don't see anything else.
Yeah, when I'm looking here, for example, he only had 17 shots in more than 30 games, so he rarely seems to take a shot. So he definitely is a type of player that I would imagine is looking for the pass rather than the space to shoot.
Yeah, I don't remember also seeing him in the center of the pitch. He stays on the left side. Maybe it was what the coach asked him, but I don't remember seeing him have a lot of action of the center of the pitch.
Yeah, and is there any
middle of the pitch? Sorry.
And is there any major weakness that you would say that he really has to work on and improve?
Sometimes we saw goals where he was not really strong in the. I don't know the word in English. When you have heads, duels.
Yeah, aerial duels. Yeah.
Aerial duels. Yeah, I remember in a game, a really important game in Dijon who was also fighting for the relegation. Yeah. He lost that duel, and he has to improve in that situation too. But we had so much difficulties last year, and I can tell you so much difficulties of any other player in Guingamp that Rebocho didn't have a lot of bad things, I don't have a lot of bad things to say about him. He has to be more bad, maybe, in the duels, more aggressive. Maybe Turkey is one of the best league to improve with that.
We do have a reputation to uphold, of course. Okay. Any other things that you think of that maybe our listeners would like to know? Any fun stories?
No, you can listen his songs. He has talent. I discover Portuguese rap with him, hip hop with him. It's quite good, and I am looking for other things, other stories, but I don't really have, except that in interviews was always a player who was speaking with us, was speaking really good. I think it's a really intelligent guy. So for the pitch, it's not maybe the best thing. It's not the first thing we see, but I think for the atmosphere with the team outside the pitch, would be a really good guy, and won't do bad thing or bad stories we could see in the media. No, it's a really clever guy, and a lot appreciated.
Well, it all sounds very promising, and we hope that he will, of course, immediately settle in, and maybe he'll be playing already on the weekend against Sivasspor, because the Turkish League is, of course, starting this coming weekend on the 17th of August. Beşiktaş play Sivasspor away, and maybe Rebocho, after a week of training with the team, will already be in the lineup. We'll have to wait and see.
We hope.
Yes.
In Guingamp, we hope, because in Sivasspor we have the goalkeeper and the striker who won the French Cup with us 5 years ago. So it could be a special game for Guingamp supporters.
Okay. Which goalkeeper is that?
Mamadou Samassa, and Mustafa Yatabari, who played in Trabzonspor.
Yeah, Tabare, of course, yeah. He's also played for Konya, and he's traveled around a little bit already in Turkey.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, Pierre, thank you very much. I think we got some great insights from you on our new player.
And sorry for my English was not perfect.
Your English was very good.
Thank you.
Very good, especially for somebody who speaks French all day on the radio. I bet you don't get to practice your English all that much, but your English is great.
Thank you.
Pierre, where can people find you on social media, on Twitter? Where can people follow you?
On Twitter, my name is Pierre HD. It's really simple. So, but I speak a lot about Guingamp. So if Turkish people wants to know more about our little city and our big club, it would be a pleasure.
That's a great expression. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Henry-Dufeil.
And good season.
Yes, and you too. A lot of luck in Ligue 2, and hopefully for Guingamp promotion back up to Ligue 1 next season. So all the best to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the Black Eagles podcast. This was our special feature on Pedro Rebocho. We'll be back later this week with an episode on Victor Ruiz. I did not manage to line up an interview for that yet due to scheduling and all that, but that is coming too, so stay tuned, and thank you for listening. And once again, thank you, Pierre.
Thank you too. Bye.
Ortada Bobo. Şimdi Bobo'nun önüne. Bobo aldı. Bobo girdi. Bobo çok babasın. Çok harikasın. Çok güzelsin. Harika. Bobo! 2-0. Yoldan geldi. Dışarı attı. Goodbye Liverpool. Goodbye. Beşiktaş Liverpool'a gidiyor. Kara Kartal sahaya geliyor. Beşiktaş Liverpool'a gidiyor.
Beşiktaş International hopes you enjoyed this program.